Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. I am Jen Thépuppét, your resident Fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture. And today we're going to be digging into Godzilla vs. Kong, the long-awaited clash between the two titans on the big screen and, of course, streaming on HBO Max. So, was it good? Was it bad? And should you be watching? Stick around because I have opinions. Yes, that's right. Kong versus Godzilla. We've been waiting over a year for this because of the pandemic. Thanks a lot, COVID, again. So we should have been seeing this in the theater, but it's on HBO Max, so we watch on HBO Max. So let's talk about Kong or Godzilla versus Kong. I keep wanting to say Kong versus Godzilla. Probably showing my bias towards the great ape, the great gorilla, and wanting him to win. But of course, we know they're both good guys. So they're not ever actually gonna win, so to speak. But someone's gonna beat somebody up. And of course, if you watched any of the trailers, they sort of teased who the ultimate bad guy is, and we'll get into that. This is gonna be all spoilers. I don't feel like trying to hide this from people. If you can watch it, if you got HBO Max, go watch it. Go check it out in the theater. It seems to be doing pretty good there. So, overall, I guess we'll recap a little bit of what the story is. It's a pretty basic story. Pretty basic. You got Godzilla. He's for whatever reason, it's been years later, for whatever reason, he's decided to start rampaging randomly. He goes and tears up Pensacola and probably actually improves the place over where it is now. Yes, that's a zinger at you, Pensacola, Florida. And they're just like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And Monarch's like, oh, how are we gonna deal with him? We've been ignoring him or whatever, leaving him to his own devices so far, and now we got to deal with him as an actual problem. And let's just say Monarch, complete non-entity in this movie. They have Kyle Chandler in here reprising his role from the last Godzilla. Again, complete non-entity. They could have sent out the Chief Wiggum from fucking The Simpsons as much as they did. I don't even think they saved anybody. So just like, I'm going to talk about that later. But yeah, Monarch's like, yeah, well, what are we going to do about him? And at the same time, the Apex Corporation, which I don't even remember from the previous movies, but the Apex Corporation was like, we're going to change the world. And they got some kind of plan. And there's some guy, some rando dude played by Brian Tyree, or is that Brian Tyree Henry, who's just all like, oh, this is a conspiracy and Apex is doing things, and of course they are, because they're a big corporation in this thing and they're bad. That's pretty much. At the same time, over on Skull Island, apparently people have gotten over their fear of all the gigantic ass bugs and shit like that, and there's some kind of weird ass magical storm going over, and Kong is in some kind of enclosure and has been since the 70s, from Kong Skull Island. And it's like the Truman Show. It's like he's on the Truman Show, but he's in his own little habitat, or he can't ever leave, except he knows he's in the habitat. And there's some little girl that's deaf, but she can also sign, and that's his best favorite human in the world or something. But somehow there's some doctor dude that's brought on by the people at the CEO of Apex to bring Kong out so maybe he can fight, I don't know, Godzilla, and they take him away on a boat, and there's a big fight on a boat, and Godzilla sort of wins, I guess, maybe, I don't know, or Godzilla wins, and then there's some air. I'm literally just, let me tell you, this is how flimsy this fucking plot is, that in another couple minutes I'm gonna be done telling you about the entire movie. You won't need to know anything else. Exactly what I'm saying. They airlift him somehow. 20 things airlift him to the Arctic, into the Antarctic, the middle of Antarctica, and they're gonna the doctor's like, there's a hollow earth and let's take his ass down there. And then they go to the most ridiculous, and they embark upon the most ridiculous, unbelievable thing that happened in this entire fucking movie. A movie that has a giant lizard fighting a giant ape, you know, and eventually a giant robot lizard. And this hollow earth ridiculousness. There's a fucking wormhole in the middle of the earth apparently that transports you, and there's weird gravity. It's utterly ridiculous, utterly stupid. Like there's some kind of sun or something like that. It looks like regular Earth, except it's all on the inside of a ball, and there's some kind of fucking weird ass fake ass sun or something like that. Who knows how? The question is, how the hell is this habitat even, sustain itself? But you know what? I'm asking too many questions. I made the mistake of bringing my brain into this movie, and that is ultimately why I don't like this movie on balance. But let me get to the end of this. The end of it is, they get to Hollow Earth. Godzilla's like, and King Kong finds, apparently his ancestors built something and they used to fight Godzilla or some shit like that. And there's an axe that's made of one of Godzilla's ancestors' tail ridges or some shit like that. And then Godzilla inexplicably shoots a laser beam all the way down to the center of the earth. And then, Kong goes back up there and some people die. And some Apex people, because they're an evil corporation, some of those people die. But not our main characters. They dodge death somehow. And these funky little hover ships or something like that. They get up to Shanghai just in time to see Kong get his ass completely whooped. I mean, it was a pretty good fight. He put up a good fight, but it's no doubt Godzilla wins this fucking fight. He gets whooped by Godzilla just in time for Mechagodzilla to show up. And Mechagodzilla came about because some of those Apex people down at the center of the earth somehow defy all sorts of limitations we know, because you can go into a fucking elevator and get no Wi-Fi signal. No, you can go into an elevator on the first floor and get no fucking signal for your cell phone. But somehow these little vehicles are able to transmit data from the literal center of the earth all the way up to the surface, where they can upload it to the Mechagodzilla that's just made out of the head of Ghidorah. They ask so much in this movie from you. It's little things like that. Why you ask stupid shit like that on top of already asking really stupid shit? It's crazy. But somehow they resurrect Ghidorah. But of course he kills the human driver of Mechagodzilla, because this isn't fucking Mobile Suit Gundam. This isn't Evangelion. This is, Godzilla. So Mechagodzilla goes on a rampage, starts tearing shit up. So Godzilla and Kong have to double team, and Godzilla gets his ass whooped, but Kong comes in with a little bit of an assist, a tag team assist, is able to beat the hell out of and dismember Mechagodzilla. All is right with the world, and Godzilla's just like, you know what, tip of the hat to you. I'm going back to sea. Never want to see you again. And Kong's like, can I go back to Skull Island? Because fuck this noise. Fuck the world. And the humans continue to be inconsequential, and they do things. And that's the end of the story. The end. Yes. Straight up, I'm just... You want to know? My review is... I didn't like the movie. I liked many parts of the movie, but this is a situation where the parts combined, you take all this stuff together. This cool ass, the best thing about it is the cool ass monster fights and shit like that. The cool ass choreographed fights and all the destruction mayhem. It looks pretty fucking good. Like, you can tell this is an expensive movie. This movie was not cheap to make, at least in terms of CG. And hey, if you've been saying for any of the other movies, there is just not enough big monster action. It's all here for you. They listen to you. You got all your big monster action. You said, man, fuck the humans. I don't care about what they got going on. Hey, if that's what you're looking for in a Godzilla and Kong movie, that's what you're getting. Fuck the humans, because they are inconsequential in this movie. Inconsequential. I'm thinking about everything that everyone did. Monarch, completely useless and non-essential. They could have been written out and shortened this movie by about 10 minutes, and it would have been fine. The closest to an actually useful, there's two people who are actually somewhat useful to this movie, and that's the little girl who apparently teaches or learned that King Kong is actually relatively smart and teaches them to sign, and then the CEO of Apex. They are the only people that matter. Everybody else, who gives a I guess maybe the doctor that convinced them to go to the Hollow Earth. The Hollow Earth is just like, it's so fucking stupid. It's really the dumbest thing in this movie. But Kong gets his special little axe and all that stuff. So he gets his Chekhov gun down there. I get it. They could have planted that fucking thing anywhere else on the Hollow Earth. Didn't have to exist in this entire thing at the end, except for having a place for Kong to go exist without Godzilla constantly rolling up on him and putting down on him, I guess. But other than that, the little deaf girl that can sign, she's important. The CEO of Apex, because he is kind of driving most of his desire to make Mechagodzilla real, kind of drives the story. But everybody else, you could have missed them completely. Millie Bobby Brown, completely useless and not necessary for this at all. Nothing she did actually meant anything in this movie. I don't even know that. Maybe her friend sort of messed it up, but even then, he didn't really mess anything up. It really actually was Kong and Godzilla that saved the fucking day. And as usual in Godzilla movies, the humans are just kind of there to get, you're like, oh, you're supposed to identify with them, but they don't do anything. So like I said, there's some stuff I really liked. I liked all the monster stuff. That was good. But all of the actual plot of the story is so fucking basic, and you could see it coming from a mile away. The human element is relatively useless and uninteresting. There just seemed to be a flimsy way to connect all the big monster fights, and that doesn't make a good movie. You blend all that shit together, doesn't make a good movie at all. I always know that I'm watching something that I don't like that much when I'm spending my time riffing on it like it's Mystery Science Theater, and I did that way too much in this movie. And I spent too much time. I paused it and was just like shaking my head at some of just the dumbness of it. So I'm gonna say I can't recommend this to anybody. I guess if you have HBO Max, give it a look, but it really is a leave your brain at the door sort of movie, and it's fun in its way, but I just think not a good movie, not something I could recommend. Miss it if you can. Go back and watch, Godzilla King of Monsters. That was a better movie. Okay, watch Kong Skull Island, but just watch the highlights of this movie and you'll get it. All right, that's my review of Godzilla vs. Kong. What did you guys think of that movie? And what did you think of my review? Why don't you let me know down in the comments? Of course, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1. Let me know how wrong you think I am about this movie, how great it is, and maybe I'll argue or maybe I'll just shake my head and, tell you good for you that you liked it, because I didn't. Also, are you subscribed to this channel? What? You not? What are you doing? Get down there, hit that subscribe button, join the Super Not Funny Show family. We're going to keep on giving you these reviews and these reactions and anything else that floats our pop culture boat. And hit that notification bell so you'll know when we drop that content. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining me for this review of Godzilla vs. Kong. In the meantime, I have been Jen Thépuppét, your resident Fabricant and commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture. And I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.